which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Prayer, please.
No, not yet.
O Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give them quiet minds and hearts that they may hear thy voice. Help them to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give them strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that they have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and with one another. Amen.
Amen.
Should be it.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and a notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on Monday, January 25th, 2016, at 7:30 p.m. Now, with that said, I would like to take a nomination for council president.
Reggie Butler. Nominate Reggie Butler.
Who's on there?
Reggie Butler? Nomination for Mr. Butler. I'm going to take a roll call now.
Counsel,
Doc-
if I may, it's my understanding there are multiple nominations. You can take other nominations and then have one vote to avoid going through all of the nominations if you'd like.
I nominate Brian Cahill.
We heard Reggie being called for multiple people. I disagree.
I'll second Brian Cahill.
Am I taking these?
We had
sec-
we had a motion and a second for Mr. Butler first.
We'll take Mr. Butler first.
Who's running the meeting here?
Dr. Belli?
Yes, for Mr. Butler, Councilman Butler.
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
No.
Mr. Green?
Pass.
Mr. Mollis?
No.
Mrs. Panos?
No.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
No.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Debbie Walker?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no, 1 pass.
Abstain.
I'm sorry, 1 pass and 1 abstain. 1 abstain. Motion carries.
The next nomination,
Really good, Kenny.
There's a motion and a second on the table for Councilman Cahill.
Mr. Cahill.
Really nice.
Okay. This is the motion for Mr. Cahill. For Mr. Rosencrantz. Dr. Belli?
No.
The vote is for Mr.,
Vote was for,
this is for Brian Cahill to be council president.
oh, okay. Sorry.
Motion was made by Mr. Rosencrantz, second
Okay,
by...
Rosencrantz. okay.
Rosencrantz seconded.
Right, okay. Thank
Who
you.
made it?
Dr. Belli?
Rich did.
No.
Mr. Butler? No. Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
No.
Mrs. Walker?
No.
5 yes, 4 no.
Yeah, you're getting comfy,
Yeah. Do we want to do all? Yeah.
Well, we're on the council. Grow up. You don't want to sit next to me. Grow
I
up.
don't.
Imagine that.
I,
I, Brian Cahill,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New
and
Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the government
to the same and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly
all the
perform
duties of the office
all the duties of the office
of Council President
Council President
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Yeah. I know.
Yep. I'll take a nomination for Council Vice President.
I'll move Alan Rosencrantz for Vice
Second.
President.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli,
No.
Mr. Butler,
No.
Mr. Cahill, President Cahill,
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis,
Yes.
Panos,
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar. No. Mrs. Walker.
No.
5 yes, 4 no.
We're gonna meet him tomorrow. Spoke to him on the phone.
Where are we here?
You have to be sworn in.
He could be right now, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be sworn in.
Well, now, here's the, okay. Here we go. Right here.
I, in your name.
I, Alan Rosencrantz,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments
to the same and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office,
all the duties of the office,
Council Vice President,
Council Vice President,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I'll sit in his seat. I'll go on there. Somebody here, though.
Does the Vice President sit over here? Alan, why don't you slide over there?
Congratulations, Alan.
Okay, we're going to continue with the meeting. Mr. Lozier has a couple of amendments to the agenda. You can go over, please. Correct. There's two changes on the resolutions, would be C8 and C9. They were amended to include a LIMO group. The LIMO group had made contributions in violation of the township pay-to-play ordinance, so they were not included in the original resolution. I received backup information from their counsel on the 31st with proof of them receiving the refund from the Old Bridge Township. It was a CR, OBTCR, in the full amount of their contribution. That's permitted under the pay-to-play ordinance. It had to be done within 60 days of the general election. They've done that, so I had to just amend those two resolutions to include them in the fair and open, and that's been done. Additionally, this morning I received a letter from Councilman Rich Green resigning his position effective January 31st, 2016, to his seat on the OBMUA as commissioner. So I also had to do a new resolution for those appointments to include what would be his unexpired term. Those are the only changes. Thank you. So that means there are 3 positions now for the MUA.
There would be a full commissioner for the end of Mr. Testino's term. There is a, now there would be a unexpired term of a full commissioner, voting commissioner, for a 1-year period from February 1st to January 31st of 17, or 2 years, I'm sorry. And that's Mr. Green's position. And there is a alternate from when you had resigned,
First alternate. yeah.
first alternate position as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Since we're on that topic, why don't we jump to that right now? I'll take nominations for the full position, the full commissioner seat.
I nominate-
ending January 31st, 2021.
I nominate
I make
John
Richard
Murphy.
Green.
I hear a nomination for Mr. Green.
I second it, Mr. Murphy.
Second.
Mr. Murphy.
Mollis. Mr. Green, Mr. Mollis.
Yes, aye.
Mr. Green, roll call on Mr. Green, please.
Wait, what are we voting on? We couldn't hear you. There were several nominations, and I,
Call for Mr. Green.
well, there were
Mr.
several
Green was
nominations.
nominated
The
and
attorney
seconded.
said when there was president, when there were several
Councilman
nominations.
Walker, you should know you're out of order, okay?
I'm not out of
There was a
order.
nomination and a second
The
that I
attorney
recognize.
ruled that when there are several nominations, that we're supposed to take a vote on both.
Right, that's what he
That's what the attorney just ruled. You can't have it both ways.
Whoa, timeout, and we didn't do that at the first one.
Yes,
So we're
you
gonna-
are.
No, we didn't.
There were two, I heard Mr. Murphy. I didn't hear anything else.
Just now you.
Dr. Belli,
What are we voting on?
Mr. Green.
Mr.
I
Green,
have no idea what we're voting on.
well, if you'd be quiet, you talk about it.
Didn't you say they were?
This is, you're very rude.
Attorney just said they would go in order. I don't
Excuse me,
understand this.
Mr. President.
There was a
Wait,
motion and
there
a
was,
second.
there was not. There was a motion and a second for Mr. Murphy as well.
Okay. There was a motion
The
and a
attorney
second.
said that we'd have two votes like last time.
Roll call, please,
For Mr. Green.
for Mr. Green.
Dr. Belli,
Excuse me, this is for his resignation, right, from his seat?
No, Mr. Butler, it's for the position I just talked about, ending January 31st, 2021. Roll
Okay.
call, please.
No,
Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli,
no.
Mr. Butler,
No.
Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar.
No.
Mrs. Walker.
No.
What happened after?
Motion passes.
Yes, 4-0.
They superseded.
Motion and a second for the unexpired term for Mr. Green.
I
nominate
nominate
Artie
Steve
Carullo.
Floric. Steve Floric.
There was a motion for Steve Flork.
Put on who they
Yeah.
I said Artie Carullo.
There was a motion
I
and a second.
second Steve Floric.
There was a motion and a second for Mr. Flork. Let's vote up and down.
Mr. Carullo.
Oh, now we'll go in order. Now we'll go the other way.
There was a second. I heard a second. Who
Who
seconded that?
was it?
I second Steve.
Mary did.
But now
There
we'll
was
do
a motion and a
third
second for
attorney
Mr. Flork.
first.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Go ahead.
Dr. Belli,
Yes,
Is this for Steve
for Steve Floric.
Yes.
Floric.
For Steve Floric, yeah.
Mr. Butler,
Yes, for Steve Floric.
Mr. Green.
No.
Mr. Mollis.
No.
Mrs. Panos.
No.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
No.
Mrs. Sohar.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
No. Another motion, please.
There was a motion on the table for
I'm
Artie.
making a motion for
Artie
the alternate
Carullo.
for
Timeout.
John
Artie
Murphy.
Carullo,
That this way. What's the
and there was a
ruling now?
second. Motion and a second for Artie Carullo.
Ruling is whatever they want
Roll
to
call,
do.
Second for
please.
John Murphy.
Gotta
Second,
start
we had a
again.
first and a second for
There was a
John Murphy.
motion and a second. Could everybody just please come to order? Thank you.
All right, I need
And it
to
was a
know
motion
who
and
was,
second that I said
Last
first.
I need to know
There's
who
a
was the
motion for
motion by
Lucille
who?
Panos and a
Why?
second by Councilman Mollis. Roll call, please.
Even she's
This is
saying.
for Artie
no.
Carullo.
Artie Carullo to serve the seat
Clerk doesn't
Why are we
know.
going through these motions?
for the one-year unexpired term.
It's all planned.
But we had to go in order.
All right, so who are we voting for now?
Greens.
For Green's.
The green seat, yep.
This is for Mr. Green's seat, for Artie Carullo, 1-year expired term.
Roll call,
Dr.
please.
Dr. Belli.
No.
Mr.
I
Butler.
looked at the resumes. They do not have the
This is
credentials.
a joke. Did you look at the resumes
Mr.
today? You
Mr.
obviously did
Butler.
not look at these resumes.
No, they didn't.
You know, I'm going to speak during council comments.
Okay,
For council comments, thank you.
Mr. Butler.
no.
Because he's so rude.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
Yes for Arthur Carullo.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar.
No.
Mrs. Walker.
No.
President Cahill.
Yes.
5 yes, 1 no.
I guess one.
Motion for the first alternate
I make a
position.
motion for John Murphy.
I second
for a
it.
third-year, three-year term.
Okay, there's
in
a
your
motion for
expired
John
position.
Murphy and a second on the table. Roll
Motion
call.
for James Anderson?
No, this is a motion for John Murphy.
There's a
John
shock.
Murphy, guys.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
All right. Dr. Belli.
Yes.
Mr. Butler.
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
No.
Who is this for?
This is for Mr.
Should have looked
Murphy.
at the
Murphy,
resumes,
John
John
Murphy.
Murphy.
Mrs. Panos.
Excuse me? No.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
No.
No. Mrs. Sohar.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
No.
5 yes? 4 no.
Who was that?
Congratulations,
That was
Mr.
the first
Murphy. You have
alternate.
all the credentials, and I look forward to working with you.
What's his first name?
Murphy, John Murphy?
John Murphy.
John Murphy, okay. Okay, going back to the agenda.
Now you have to pass the resolution.
Oh, we got to pass the resolution for all of them, right, exactly right, yep. Okay. So there's going to be one resolution, up or down. You have it in front of you, the names are just filled in. So roll call, please, on the resolution.
Pardon me, could you repeat that, please, clerk?
There's one resolution with all 3 names, so you have to vote up or down on
Or
whether or not
who?
you want them, not.
1 minute.
And that was the new resolution that the
That's
attorney just
correct.
presented
All
us.
3 names in, yes.
Okay.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green? Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay. Taking nominations for the Film and Television Committee. Term expires 12/3/2018. Any nominations? No nominations, we'll just hold that?
Okay.
Okay. Parking and Transportation Committee, there's 4 open appointments. Term expires 12/31/2018.
I nominate Phil McGovern.
I second.
Motion and a second on Mr. McGovern. Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
Any other appointments for Parking and Transportation?
I have a Joseph Kuick.
Joseph Kuick, is there a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion, a second, on Joseph Kuick?
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Yeah. Probably
okay.
easier.
All right.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
Are there any, there's 2 more seats, are there any more nominations?
I
or-
nominate Nia Shaw.
Second.
Okay, Nia Shaw, and there's a second, are there any more? We can move them as a package? None? Okay, motion and a second on Nia Shaw.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
Planning Board Council Member, Class 3, term expires 12/31/2016.
I know.
I'd like to nominate Councilman Joe Mollis.
I'll second.
Joe Mollis, motion and a second. Roll call, please, when you get a chance.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Sohar?
Yes.
President Walker?
Yes.
Sorry, Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
Public Agency Compliance Officer,
I nominate it's Christopher Marion.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Roll call when you get a chance.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis? Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
So there's 9 appointments. I assume 3 of those are council liaison seats? Is that correct?
9 appointments for,
For the rec
Recreation.
board? Yeah.
their regular
So the council appointments? are
council
not up?
appointments.
Okay. Do we have a nomination for any rec board members?
I nominate Mary Sohar.
This is regular, this is
is
not
regular.
council.
Regular members. Oh, Jack Kukoc, Leo. Jack Kokoschlio.
Jack Kokoska?
Second.
Okay. Let's take some more. You have one?
Yes, I have one, Rich McGee from Ward 1.
Rich McGee?
He's been serving for 2 years now, and he didn't get his resume in.
Okay.
He's definitely interested, and he's in good standing.
I know, Rich.
I'd
Is
like
second
to
on this?
nominate-
Hold on, we need a second.
Sorry.
Got a second? Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Ashok Patel.
Ashok Patel, we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any more nominations for Rec Board?
I believe Gary Giacchetti is up also.
We have a second for Gary Giacchetti?
Second.
Any more nominations for Rec Board? Okay. And if any other are interested, we'll just add it on to the next meeting. So I'll take them as a package. Can I have a motion and a second as a package, please?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli,
Yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
Yes.
9 yes.
Can I nominate additional person for the rec board now?
Do you have a name?
Jack Kozolo?
Yeah, we already did that.
He's already on there.
Yep.
He's in the pack.
Okay, there are two appointments to Open Space Committee, both council member appointments. Term expires 12/31/2016.
I nominate Alan Rosencrantz.
Okay, we have a second? I'll second it. Any other council appointments to Open Space?
I'll nominate Lucille Panos.
I have a second? I'll second it. Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli,
Yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Mollis,
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz,
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
Yes.
9 yes.
Redevelopment Agency Class A Council Member term
nominate
expires
Debbie
11.
Walker.
Can I just finish it, please? 11/28/2016.
Second for Debbie.
Debbie Walker.
Second.
I didn't hear.
I didn't hear
The
you.
first and a second for Debbie Walker already.
Okay, if I could finish the sentence, it'd be helpful.
Yeah.
There's a motion and a second for Debbie Walker.
And
Roll
there
call,
was a
please.
motion.
Yeah, and you made a motion for
Oh, and
who?
then you go to the next vote. Is that how it's going?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
There was a motion for who?
Lucille Panos.
Okay, and a second? Okay, so we'll vote for Debbie Walker first, and if that doesn't pass, we'll go to Lucille Panos.
Dr. Belli,
Yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
No.
Mr. Mollis,
No.
Mrs. Panos,
No.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
No.
Mrs. Sohar,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes, I don't know why we're going through this charade today. We shouldn't even bother having a meeting. It's all pre-orchestrated. No, because we know.
Is that a yes or a no?
It's a yes.
Okay,
It's a waste.
President Cahill.
no. There's a motion and a second for Councilwoman Panos.
4 yes and 5 no for the other. Dr. Belli,
This is for?
this is for Mrs. Panos. in the
No.
Open space. Mr. Butler,
No.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Mollis,
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar. Mrs. Walker.
No.
President Cahill.
Yes.
5 yes, 4 no.
Tax Assessment Officer, term expires 12/31/2016.
I nominate Stella
Stella
Ward.
Ward.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Stella, when you get a chance.
Dr. Belli,
Yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Mollis,
Yes.
Mrs. Panos,
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker. Mrs. Walker.
No.
President Cahill.
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no.
Tax Search Officer, term expires 12/31/2016.
I nominate Dawn Swoboda.
You got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second?
Dr. Belli,
Yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Mollis,
Yes.
Mrs. Panos,
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
Yes.
9 yes.
Zoning Board of Adjustment, term expires 12/31/2019.
I'd like to
I'd like to nominate
Artie
James
Carullo.
Connor. Second. Connor.
Second for Artie
Got a
Carullo.
motion and second on James Connor, and we had a motion for, I didn't hear, I'm sorry.
Artie Carullo.
Artie Carullo? And is there a second?
Yes, there is.
There was a first and second.
Okay. We'll do a motion
I
and,
don't think, Mr.
I
Crullo,
did-
point of order here.
yeah,
I think Mr. Crullo, he's just been appointed to the MUA. I don't think he can
that's
serve.
true. I think it's a conflict of interest.
Zoning, okay. All right.
You withdraw your nomination then?
Yes.
I need a first and a second. I didn't hear for Artie Carrillo, for James Connor, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was the first, who made the
Yeah, it
motion, who
was,
made the
but I don't
second?
know.
Made the motion.
Motion from Mr. Green, who made the second on Mr. Connor? Yeah, Mr. Mollis made the
Mr.
second.
Mullins, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli,
Yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis,
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz,
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
President Cahill.
Yes.
9 yes.
Zoning Board of Adjustment, alternate number 1 member, term expires 12/31/2018.
I'd like to nominate Christine Winter.
Christine Winter, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any other nominations? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dr. Belli,
Yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis,
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar.
Yes, and just one quick comment. I'd like to congratulate Christine. It's so nice to see a second generation staying in town and, you know, wanting to be on boards like this. It's nice to see young people coming in.
Mrs. Walker. Yes. President Cahill.
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, we'll turn the agenda over to the mayor. Mr. Mayor, you have a number of appointments.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I think we should vote on the council member appointments to the Recreation Advisory Board.
I mean, are they up? I'm not sure if they're up or not.
I think they're all one-year appointments. But, I mean, we can always do it at the next meeting,
Yeah,
but
we
I
better
just,
do it next meeting. yeah.
We'll do, let's make sure we have our ducks in a row. We'll do it.
Okay.
Put it on the agenda for the next meeting, just to make sure. Yeah, great. Mr. Mayor?
Excuse me, Clerk, can I just say something?
Sure.
President, 'cause I think on the tax assessment vote, I think Mrs. Walker wasn't clear with her last vote. Could you tell me the votes for the tax assessment?
It was 8 yes and 1 no.
Yeah, I
Mrs.
think
Walker
Ms.
voted no.
Walker, yes, she thought she was voting for something else. Could you ask her again for tax assessment? For Stella, it was for the clerk, for Stella
Can I
Ward.
take that again?
I think,
Does Mrs. Walker want to redo her vote on the?
Yes, please. I've
On the
changed it
tax,
to a
was it tax
yes.
assessment
Yes,
officer or
please.
tax search? Which one was
The
it?
tax assessment.
Assessment.
Okay. Would you like to change your vote?
Yes, please, yes,
To a yes?
yes.
Is that okay, Mr. Attorney?
That's 9 yes.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, for the third time.
For Cultural Arts Committee, there are 6 openings. I have 5 names I'd like to read for the record. Maddie Tropino, Lisa Rodriguez, Preet Singh, Manjeet Singh, and Darian Francis for Cultural Arts. I received no resumes nor applications for Historical Preservation Commission, so I ask if anyone in public is interested, please send me a resume and your name. Same for the Parking Transportation Committee. For the Planning Board, I will just read the names. Marty Pink, Michael Colombo, Catherine O'Kane, Roseanne Thompson, Osama Abbas, and Eddie Lauer. All these people are currently serving and they're being reappointed. Environmental Commission, I have Glenn Dantino, Charlene Diesliak, David Fury, and Marissa Scanmaglio, our high school representative. She has a very tough name to say. But again, these people are, Mr. Fury is a new member of the Environmental Commission.
Scamiglio.
Okay. I can look at it, but I can't say it. I'm sorry. And also for the Library Board, I need council concurrence for these. Library Board, Michael Nielsen will be taking a full term, and Mr. Kevin Borselli will be my representative, my alternate on the Library Board, and I need your concurrence with that.
I'll move it.
Motion and a second on both?
Motion,
Is it on both?
yep, yes,
Got a motion and a second on both?
yes,
Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli,
yes.
Mr. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Green.
yes.
Mr. Mollis,
Yes.
Mrs. Panos. Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
Yes.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. Approval of previous minutes from December 14th and December 21st, 2015, combined executive session. I just caution Dr. Bella, you weren't on the council, I'll just abstain.
No,
now.
I'm abstaining, yes.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Any questions, comments about the minutes? Any alterations at all? Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli?
Abstain?
Mr. Butler?
No.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis? Yes. Mrs. Panos? Yes. Mr. Rosencrans?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no, 1 abstention.
Does anybody have the bill list in front of them? They could read it? Could help me out?
They don't have it, but I have it
You
here.
have it?
Whoever wants to read it.
Does anybody want to do that as a position going forward? Okay, I guess I'll do it. Okay. I got it right here. Oh,
We have it.
I was wondering if anybody wanted to do it going forward. That's all.
Give it
I'm just
to-
asking the
you
question.
check it.
You want to do it? Go ahead.
Accounts payable December 31st, 2015, $1,091,026.52.
Need a motion?
Move it.
And a second? I'll second it. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis? Mrs. Panos? Mr. Rosencrans?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
Payroll December 18th, 2015, $1,017,416.46.
Got a motion, please?
Move it.
And a second? Any questions? Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis? Mrs. Panos? Mr. Rosencrans?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
Thanks.
Payroll overtime, $99,001.11.
Motion, please?
Move it.
And a second? I'll second it. Mr. Marion, could you do the breakdown, please?
Actually, I was out of the office this week. I'll have a breakdown on the January 25th for both that payroll and the 25th.
We will hold you to it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any questions about the overtime? Can I have a roll call, please?
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis? Mrs. Panos? Mr. Rosencrans?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker? President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
Bill list January 1st, 2016, accounts payable, $641,343.18.
Need a motion, please?
Move it.
And a second? I'll second it. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis? Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrans?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes. Is that it on the bill
Is that on the bill list? Is that it
End
on
of the bill list.
Okay, thank you. There's no public hearings, second reading. Everybody sign the list to be heard?
No. Oh,
Have one?
sorry.
I'll read the rules for speaking of the public comments section. Preliminary public comments to the council subject to the following conditions and restrictions. 1, during the preliminary public portion of the meeting, any person may address the township council on one subject for a maximum period of 5 minutes. Any such person desiring to speak during the preliminary public portion shall first sign a list maintained by the township clerk for such purpose. Comments during the preliminary public portion of the meeting shall not encompass second reading ordinance or any other matter for which comment or public hearing is to occur at the meeting.
Tony Fischetti?
Just name and address, please.
Tony Pasquitti, 40 Southwood Drive.
Thank you.
I started a nonprofit organization, and on June 4th in Geik Park, we're going to have a drug awareness education event. And it's just in the preliminary stages and the details and everything, but I wanted to let the council know. I already spoke to the mayor a couple weeks ago and to the police and others in the township. And I just wanted to let the council know that I'm planning this event and it's already on its way to happen.
Could you send us some emails when you start to, it gets closer to the
Yes, I
time? so
will.
we can-
I'll as soon as I get a draft agenda
Great.
and a I have some things ready already, but by the end of next week, I should have something good for everybody.
Terrific, thank you.
All right? Okay, thanks.
That's it.
That's it? Okay, councilmember comments. Who'd like to speak first? There's a lot of people.
I would like to speak.
Dr. Greenberg Belli.
This is my first meeting, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve. And as I say time and again, that I plan to serve with integrity, honesty, and responsibility. And it is very sad at this first meeting that I have to see some things when I'm thinking of all the township residents, when we make simple appointments, to know that there was a meeting on Wednesday night, and a lot of these appointments were already predetermined. It was at Lucille's Panhouse with a quorum of 5 council members, and it's very disturbing to me. So that is why, if anyone's questioning why I voted no on so many of the recommendations, that is why. And if anyone has any questions ever, they can always reach out to me, and I'll be happy to give you any more information that you need. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'd like to make a comment, too.
Councilwoman Walker and then Councilman Green.
I agree with Dr. Belli. I was very proud at one time to be a member of the Republican Party. At this time, I have to say I'm ashamed to be up here with some of these people. They did meet at Mrs. Panos' house on Wednesday night. As you can tell, you could all look at the votes, the way the voting went today. They had it all pre-orchestrated. We didn't have a chance. Even when I tried to nominate the president, the attorney stepped in to stop that as well. And I'm very ashamed, but moving forward, I'm going to do what's in the best interest of the people.
Council President.
Yep. Mr. Lazier has to respond before Mrs. Green goes.
Councilwoman, I was approached by the clerk of the council here, municipal clerk, prior to the meeting getting underway, because she said there were multiple people that were going to be nominated, and she wanted to know how she could deal with everybody interrupting everybody and yelling out names. I informed her of the 2 processes that you could proceed with. That's what was done. You decided to move forward voting on each nomination, and that's what occurred.
Mr. Green?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to recognize the ladies in the clerk's office. I'm not being, people may say I'm not being politically correct, but they are ladies, wonderful women who work hard for us all the time, besides the duties of licensing the dogs and cats and the commuter parking. They do a great job for the council members, preparing us for the meeting, our meetings, and especially, I'm sure there was a lot of work that went into this meeting that were done by the ladies in the clerk's office, and I really want to single them out and thank them very much for all their help.
Thank you.
I'd also like to say that it's hard to believe that I think I'm on the council for 16 years now, and I think I've been recognized as somebody who has been truthful and honest. That's what I believe that the residents say about me, and I want to continue that. What I also want to do is I want to work with everybody up here, all 9 of us, so that we can move forward to do the right thing and the best thing for the residents of Old Bridge. Thank you.
Mr. Butler, I know you want to be recognized.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the public who's here, who supports us in the things that we do. Public, I want you to give yourselves a hand for being here, if you do that. I want to thank the public, too, for me starting my 27th year on this township council. Thank you. I think one of the reasons that I'm still here is because I've been fair and honest, and I've gone out of my way to assist people in their time of need. And I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everybody a very happy, healthy, and prosperous 2016. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Councilwoman Panos?
Yeah, but he can't be president.
Councilwoman Panos?
All right, I guess we're all showing our age. I'm in my 14th year on the council. I'd like to thank the residents, thank all the volunteers who who volunteered to be on these various committees. And as far as a meeting at my house, in case anybody didn't realize it, it's holiday season. I was having my friends and neighbors over for a holiday celebration. And if anybody questions that, please feel free to give me a call. In fact, there were council people there. We had a good time. we get along on this council for the majority of us. There's someone who hasn't spoken in a while. I was thinking of joining a bowling team, organizing a bowling team with some of these council members. I hope that wouldn't be considered. Holiday celebrations and social events should not be considered unethical. I doubt it is. But anyway, thank you for the volunteers, and a healthy and happy New Year to all.
Anybody else? Council comments? Mrs. Sohar?
Yes. First, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and healthy New Year, and thank all the residents for coming out today and all the supporters that we've had. There's been so many people that are here for us, to help us, and to work with us. It was my hope as well that we could, this year, start new and have some cohesiveness here. I was very disappointed that we did not. I don't understand why we have to go down this road, but obviously that's where certain people are going. I will try my best to do what's always best for the residents. And just like all the other council members, I feel I'm honest as well, and my residents really appreciate that. So hopefully, I don't know who's talking over me, but somebody is. But hopefully, when this is all said and done, we can still do good for the town as well. I'm really very disappointed in today.
Any other councilman comments? Mr. Mollis, Mr. Rosencrantz? Okay. I'll just close by saying that I'm very proud to be here today. I want to thank those that voted for me to be council president, and also Councilman Rosencrantz for vice president. I, too, want to work with all members of council. Unfortunately, this is a democracy, and sometimes you don't get your own way. Sometimes the votes go the other way that you wanted it to go. So we'll continue to work towards that. Again, hopefully we'll have a cohesive council going forward, but sometimes things don't fall your way, and that's how it has to be. Majority rules. So I'll close the council member comments. Do we have a report of the township clerk?
No, it's fine.
Do we have a report of the township attorney?
Just one item on the consent agenda, C25, there's a typo. The hourly rate for the Special Tax Council in the body of it should reflect 135, not 150.
Everybody understand that? 135? Okay. Any other?
One other thing, if anybody wants to see the backup for a LIMO group, I received that via email, and I have it in the office. I'll actually give a copy to the clerk, so that if you want to view that backup, you're more than welcome to do so.
Thank you. It's my understanding we do not have an administrative report today.
That is correct, Council President. No clapping, please.
And
But I do want to wish everybody
thank you for that.
a very happy and healthy New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Marion. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have items C1 through C33. These are basically our yearly kind of appointments, et cetera. Anybody have any?
I would like to separate C26.
We need a motion and a second on the balance for, introduce. Have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, then we'll take separations, please.
I would like to separate C26.
C26.
Separate C1 for
Dr.
abstention.
Greenberg. C1.
Yes.
Any other separations? Okay.
I'd like to move the balance, Mr. President.
Yeah, I just got to open up to the, I appreciate that, it's got to open up to the public. Anybody want to be heard on the consent agenda, items C1 through C33?
Okay.
Mr. Piscitty? This is on just C1 through C33.
Tony Pasquini, 40 Southwood Drive.
Thank you.
I'd like to comment on C26, which is the attorney. There are a number of things that I'm very disappointed in the last 4 years with the attorney. I think that the council should look at a different attorney for our town. What confirmed it for me was a few months back, I'm at a council meeting, and the attorney, during the council meeting, was wearing shorts. I just thought, how unprofessional. And that's the type of attorneys that we've hired. So I just want to make those comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Any other comments about Kenny's shorts or anything else? Okay. I thought he looked good, by the way. So we have a motion and a second for the balance by Mr. Butler. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Motion and a second on the balance, excluding C1 and C26. Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green? Yes. Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
C1, Mr. Rosencrantz?
For abstention.
C1 for abstention. Anybody have any comments or questions about C1 before we vote? So C1 is just for an abstention. Roll call, please.
We need a motion.
I'm sorry, motion and a second on C1?
Move it.
Got a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Abstain.
Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
9 yes.
C26, Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes, one of the things that I worked on when I first moved into town was the referendum for an in-house attorney. And I feel a town of this size, nearly 42 square miles, with the amount of employees and concerns of the residents, that we do need an in-house attorney. And one of the things that I hear from employees and residents when they have things, sometimes they're not accessible. So I think we should look at that, to have, in-house attorneys.
Any other comments on C26?
We had.
Any other comments on C26?
Oh, you mean,
Go ahead.
C26, I think these guys do a great job. You know, maybe came in from his vacation and wore shorts that one time. Well, he's entitled to a vacation and come to work. These guys have been so accessible, so knowledgeable, and at the price, 4 years ago, we were paying almost double this. And we have 2 attorneys here that we could call on any time. And I even apologize for calling on a Sunday sometime, but you were there. Thank you, Mr. Roselli. Thank God we have them. Thank you.
Any other comments on C26? I'll just close by saying that I think that Mark and Ken have been phenomenal lawyers. I think that they've saved the township thousands of dollars based on not only their fee, when they do all this extra work for us, but all the ordinances that we found that were wrong, that they've corrected, and they've kept us out of litigation, et cetera. I think they're outstanding attorneys, and I would urge the council to support them. We have a roll call, please? Do we have a motion and a second on that?
No.
We don't.
Need a motion and a second.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli?
The motion was to do what?
Attorneys.
C26 is the motion.
To approve.
No.
Mr. Butler?
No.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis? Mrs. Panos? Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
No.
Mrs. Walker? No. President Cahill?
Yes.
So we're done there?
5 yes, 4 no.
No, I'm hungry, man.
No one is second for first reading. Public comments on the subject matter? I'll close the public comment portion. Council, any other councilman comments?
No.
Councilwoman Panos? Happy New Year. Great. Anybody else? Motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Butler? Yes. Mr. Green? Mr. Mollis? Mr. Mollis?
Miles, to adjourn?
Mrs. Panos? Mr. Rosencrantz? Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
A yes.
Happy New Year.